What do we have here today? Ray Charles, the genius after hours. Look at that smile. Isn't that great? Very few modern musicians, I would say, could get away with calling themselves genius. He was one of them. Joe Pass comes to mind. There's another. Anyway, this appears to be the mono pressing of the 1961 release, The Genius After Hours. Interestingly, what's he holding in his hand right there? That looks like an Oscar. Did Ray Charles win an Oscar? I don't think so. Maybe you guys could help me out. Anyway, the cover's in good shape. This is Atlantic 1369. I believe this was released in 1961, which would have been just after he left Atlantic Records and went on to Paramount. I believe that was the time that happened. Most of the songs written by Ray Charles, although I do see a Gershwin tune on here, maybe one or two others. Fats Waller, Ain't Misbehavin', that's a great tune. A variety of sidemen here on this record. I bet this was recorded in the late 50s. I'm seeing William Peoples on drums. I'm pretty sure he retired right around 1960, so before this album was released. William Peoples was a great drummer, a student of Philly Joe Jones, worth checking out. Some other great cats on here. David Fathead Newman, I'm seeing. Oscar Pettifor on bass. Good stuff, for sure. Let's take a closer look, see what we have here. Oh, I've seen these inners before. I think those are Atlantic inners. I don't know, fellas, what do you think? Yeah, this does look like oh, look at this. We have a return address sticker on the label. I would like to officially dedicate this episode to Susie Jamison Bey, B-E-Y, at 412 West Chicago Avenue, number 205 in Chicago 10, Illinois. This would have been before zip codes as we know them today. How about that? Susie, my dear, are you still with us? Please do comment below if you are, or any kin of Susie Bey. If you can prove you're related to Susie Bey, I'll send you this record. How about that? I love finding stuff like that. Let's take a closer look. Yep, this is definitely a mono pressing. I think this would be the original. As far as the condition, my goodness, it looks pristine quality-wise. I am not seeing any scratches, any real blemishes. That's fantastic. Maybe a tiny one there. Fair bit of dirt and debris, but we can take care of that. Let's get to it. Okay, here's the approach we're going to take to clean the Ray Charles record. We're going to start off with the suction machine, our VPI Cyclone. We'll be using one of our favorite record cleaning fluids, L'Art du Son, and we'll follow that up with a pure water rinse. Of course, we always start with our Giotto Blaster. The brushes that we'll be using, we're going to start with the Prelude brushes. That is, we're going to apply the fluid, the water or the record cleaning fluid, with the Walker brush, but then switch over to an Ossange brush to agitate that liquid. This two-step approach, by the way, was recommended by Bill Hart over at the Steve Hoffman forums. If you're a music lover, an audiophile, a record collector, and you haven't checked out Steve Hoffman forums, I urge you to do so. It's one of my favorite chat rooms, if you will. Also like Audio Asylum, by the way. In any case, once we're done with cleaning the record on the VPI, We are going to put it into the ultrasonic, which is a common way to finish it off. But we're going to try something a little bit different. Rather than having the internal heater slash fan dry the record in the ultrasonic, we're going to very carefully take it out of the ultrasonic while it's still wet and put it onto our string machine, onto the Loracraft, and dry it using that machine. So we'll see how that works. We thought that would be a fun way to utilize our machine. So let's get to it. Let's clean this record. If you've seen our other videos, you'll know that we do not use dry brushes here at Let's Clean a Record. Instead, we rely on the Giotto Blaster for the initial cleaning off of large debris. There are pluses and minuses to brushes. I'm not saying they can't be beneficial, but the Giotto Blaster has all of the benefits of a dry brush and none of the downsides. So I would highly recommend checking out that. I like to have two, one here at the cleaning station and one next to the stereo system for brushing off any, or blowing off any dust rather, that might accumulate on the disc after it's been cleaned. So let's get to it. Another thing, the tip of these Giotto Blasters is a hard plastic, harder than your vinyl. So do be careful when using these. You don't want to scratch the record with them. Remember, when using the Prelude, just like any brush, you want to pre-wet it, but particularly with the Prelude, remember it's a unidirectional nap. It goes just in one direction, so you want the record to come into that nap, and you can just easily feel which way that goes. There it is, just like that. Just a few revolutions will spread it out evenly and begin to loosen that dirt with agitation. I always like to give it a few extra revolutions on side one with the pure water rinse, just to make sure that the first side of the record is completely dry before flipping it over. And I'll hit it with the Giotto Blaster again on side two before cleaning side two, just in case we picked up any particles from the cork mat. Same process, side 2. Okay, let's get it into the ultrasonic machine. We're going to give it 4 minutes, but turn off the drying cycle. And we'll take it out very carefully and set it onto the Loracraft. Okay, the ultrasonic cycle is done, no drying. I do recommend just letting it sit for a few moments so any excess water can drop off of the record and back into the tank where it belongs. If you're moving a record out of an ultrasonic like this, while it's still wet, do be careful. You don't want to get any water in the mechanism itself. So it's not a big deal as long as you're careful and don't bang it around too much. Onto the Loracraft we go. There may be enough water remaining on the record that when we begin spinning this machine, it will fling some of the water off onto the top of the Loracraft, which is perfectly fine. It's meant to get a little bit wet, won't hurt anything. We have a rag here to mop it up as needed. So let's go ahead and just fine. Turn the pump on. Let's make sure we have a nice clean piece of string. Go ahead and set the arms motor in motion. As the nozzle nears the label, you can just turn the arm motor off. It'll stop right there for you. And then I like to reverse direction. Put the arm motor back on. There you go. Once it reaches the record's edge, go ahead and stop the arm. You can turn off the pump. and the motor. Return the arm, and we have a clean, dry side 1. However, when we go to flip it over, remember side 2 is still wet, as is the platter. This is the reason why I recommend acquiring 2 platters. We'll set that one down to dry. We'll grab a nice clean one, clean and dry one. Okay, now we're ready for side 2. Pump on, arm motor on. We're at the record's edge, so we'll stop the arm. We'll go ahead and turn off the pump. And the platter motor, return the arm to its position, and look at that. We have a clean, dry record ready to go. Let's go give this a listen. Protected inner sleeve here, nice and clean, brand new, going into what may be the original inner. Not 100% sure about that. We're ready to go. Final thoughts on Ray Charles, The Genius After Hours. Let's start with the music itself. In a word, this is tasty. Really nice playing. You should know this is all about Ray's piano playing. He doesn't sing on this record. And the name, I think, is appropriate, After Hours. This is definitely second set kind of music. The day job folks would have been long in bed by the time they played a set like this. But it's also, I think, elegant, really, really nice. You hear his blues roots, but definitely an elegance about it. I think he was that kind of man. I never knew him, but it sounds that way anyway. Very interestingly is the way this was recorded. I was really almost shocked by it. That is to say, it sounds like the microphones were placed very close to the instruments and recorded hot. Not so hot that there was distortion. I suspect in the early 60s they were probably using ribbon microphones, which can easily distort. But I heard no distortion, but there was a real closeness and intimacy about this recording. Almost akin what you would expect to hear from a 1970s era Steely Dan album where everything was close mic'd and separated. It had that kind of feel to it. Very hot recording too. I don't know if I would call that, the ultimate way from an audiophile perspective, the ultimate way to do it, but it was interesting. It was very intimate, and I enjoyed it a lot. You'll find on the back of early Atlantic records that they take this stuff seriously. This is a high fidelity recording, transferred from master tapes to master lacquers. You hear that mobile fidelity? It was made on an Ampex 300 tape recorder. I just love those kind of details. So really nice sounding record, good music, little different since he's not singing on it. Most Ray Charles records, you're going to hear his voice. As far as the cleaning is concerned, we got it nice and clean. I heard no pops or ticks or anything along those lines. So thank you again to Bill Hart for the suggestion to use the Walker Audio Prelude brushes in combination with the Osage brushes. I really did like that. Those Those Walker brushes and their unidirectionality really got in there nice and tight. You could feel it as the record was progressing under the brush. I still like the Osage brushes though for agitating the record cleaning fluid. Turned out great. This is a good one, highly recommended. Let's go on to the next record. Did Ray Charles win an Oscar? I don't think so. Susie, my dear, are you still with us? Please do comment below if you are, or any kin.